another episode of The High Ground powered by Premier Companies. Sal, good morning.
Good morning.
We have a special guest with us. All our guests are special.
Aren't they?
I mean, we introduced them all as special, and then...
I wonder if they all watch all of them, and they're like, I thought I was special.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. But, yeah, for sure, they're all special and when we introduce them. So today we got the brains behind the product. Ryan Furr's with us today, and he's the one who's been editing, producing, and I don't know what else you do. Dealing with the nonsense, making it look like something that's halfway marketable. But
this is the podcast about the podcast.
Yes, it is. So this is the brains behind the podcast, and you're not alone in helping us. So we've got others behind the camera as well. So if you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about your business, we'll talk about you for a little bit because we've got 28 episodes or something out now, and you've done them all, and I think the only time I've referenced you is ask if you could mute my co-host at one point in time because of the abuse I was taking.
That's important.
Or can we put a duck quack on there?
Exactly. Yeah. Or you may have to cut this before we get into it. So tell us a little bit about you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So my company is called Ryan Furr Creative. We do mostly video production. We get into a little bit of photography and some social media strategy as well. I've got my other guy Kyle with me here today, who's up there producing for me since I'm sitting here. So, but yeah, we do a lot of like product promotions, commercials, that kind of stuff. And then this is actually the first podcast that we've gotten into producing. So
it's ours too.
Yeah, it's yours too. So we're figuring it out as we go, but I think it's been really good.
We've been at this for 7 months, and he hasn't done another one. So that tells you what kind of experience he's had.
I'm just afraid it can't get better than this. That's.
I hope that's not true. So let's talk about the podcasting and the way that it gets out and what you do. I mean, how do you find out about this kind of stuff? I mean, let's talk about marketing and that kind of. I mean, how do you find out about how to get podcasts going? I mean, we turned to you and said we'd like to do a podcast, make it happen, and you did. So here we are.
We did it.
We did it. So is it just trial and error? I mean, there's so many platforms, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but. I didn't have your level of expertise on this, so talk to us just a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been some research and those kind of things, but there's so many resources out there at this point that help with like distribution and stuff like that and getting it out to all the different platforms, so it takes a little bit of that work off of us to do that. So right now we're going to really all the audio podcast platforms with Apple Podcasts and Google and all that kind of stuff, Spotify, and then we're pushing the video side to YouTube. So of course I've, we had a lot of experience in video, and the podcasts, a lot of them are really just doing audio, but it's funny, but I really like watching video podcasts, and I feel like you just get to know the people a little bit better, and it just has a different feel to it. So we're doing that on the YouTube channel for the High Ground, and then we're pushing that to our Facebook page too. So we're trying to be everywhere anyone can find us.
So just to clarify, while you're sitting here on the air, did you have anything to do with those freaking things behind you?
Yeah,
those large-scale cutouts behind. Did you have anything to do with that?
Yeah, so I did.
What's the gray hair with mine anyway?
I didn't actually get to hear your opinion on it yet.
No,
so
you have not. It's probably not going to do it.
Maybe we can't have that right now. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little animated version of you guys, so I found a comic book artist in Columbus and got him on board with doing those, and tried to keep it a secret until they showed up. So
and Kyle, you're our guy now.
Yep. You couldn't veto him if I didn't tell you about him, and so now it's just if they end up missing, I know who to look to.
I'm signing mine and selling it. That's what I do. Okay. All right, well, Sal.
Yeah, well, with these podcasts, Ryan, so we just don't script these at all.
Yep.
And you've been here through them, and so far we haven't we've gone off the tracks a little bit every once in a while, but there's not much editing we've done. We thought there'd be a lot of editing we'd have to do, and pretty unscripted. And what's been your favorite topic as we've gone through these?
Oh gosh, it's really hard to pick one. I will say, like, overall, I was not really knowledgeable coming in on a whole lot to do with agriculture, energy, or really most of the subjects that come up in the podcast. And I've been honestly surprised in a good way about how interesting all of it's been to me. I really, I do enjoy Glenn when he's on here and learning about the agronomy side and everything. And it's funny. It makes me want to do some kind of thing about Glenn versus the stink bugs, because I feel like that comes up in like almost every time he's on here.
He does not like them critters.
No, he does not.
Yeah, that's been a problem.
Well, I wonder if so current events right now. I think to put a timestamp on it is Elon Musk is making an offer to purchase Twitter. Is that what's going on? I've quit watching the news, but even I had to get wind of that. Do you think there's any chance of him making a reach for the high ground here on Premier Companies?
Yeah, it's very possible. I'm waiting on that email so I can deal with that.
Yeah. His Twitter offer was $43 billion. So.
Yeah. We're somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm sure.
We're somewhere less than that. I mean, I think we're not too proud. We're a little less than that.
Yep.
He's a 9% owner currently at like $2.6 billion. And he's basically gone back to him and said it needs to be a private platform. It needs to promote free speech from everyone, and he's offered $43 billion. And you'd think that his 9% ownership hinges somewhere on whether or not they accept his offer to buy the whole company. So if they don't want to sell it to him, sounds like he might make a move anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Seems like it wasn't a whole lot of an offer. It was a little more of a threatening, like, you basically need to do this or it's not going to be good for you, is kind of what it sounds like.
You know, part of me is I'd sure like to believe that, you know, that it's all what is it, altruistic when you're going to do something, because even though it's not maybe not financially a gain, it's you know, from what I heard, he just wants a free speech platform. And look around the room here in the age group that we're in. Heck, when we were kids, you could say or do about anything you wanted to. And you may not have any friends if you were a jerk, right? I mean, if you didn't say the right things, you wouldn't have any friends.
Yeah,
but,
if you could get punched in the face through social media, there'd probably be a lot less talk on there than there is.
There was recourse. Yeah, you get a bloody lip or a broken nose or something if you said the wrong thing. But yeah, anymore people can hide behind their computer screens and say whatever they want, and not much recourse on it. But yeah, it'd be kind of neat to have a free speech platform. Who would ever thought that we'd be in a time whenever you couldn't say things, whatever you wanted to say.
So far, we've been able to say pretty much what we wanted to say on here, right?
Yeah, nobody's come down on us yet.
Right.
Except for those stink bugs.
Right. Well,
I don't know. That whole, it's almost like the whole concept is difficult now, because obviously free speech is a huge thing. But then when it comes down to actual facts, there's a whole lot of people that are relying on social media for their information, so they end up with a lot of bad information,
or half the information,
right, exactly. And from kind of my diving into social media and looking at the algorithms and that kind of stuff, that it really feeds you the stuff it knows you're going to want.
Oh wow.
That knows you're going to click on. So the more you look for that opinion, the more you kind of get entrenched in that view, and it just kind of feeds you more and more to back up your side. So everybody's kind of getting the information they want, not necessarily the information they need to have a balanced view on anything. So
yeah, that's funny when you start talking about algorithms and how that works. It is it's interesting. I mean, you're right. You can get whatever you want in a daily dose or all day run of just exactly what you want to hear. We have painted ourselves in that corner.
Yeah, all they want you to do is click.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of folks are really good at telling half the story.
Oh yeah.
And I had a friend one time, I forget, and he was watching one of the news channels, and he's retired, and he was complaining to his wife about how they just talk about the same thing all day. And she said, well, most people don't watch it for 4 hours at a time. And eventually, yeah, they will start talking about the same things. But But and that depends on what news channel you watch. Is which I like that, Ryan. I hadn't thought about how you can kind of pick the kind of news you want. And,
But if you do something 24 hours a day and repeat the same things over, everything has to either be a breaking news or it has to be a highlight. It's got to be something. You know, I remember back, I don't remember what year it was, I guess, but it was in the mid-'90s when the Weather Channel came out and it was going to be 24 hours of weather all the time. And my dad said, nobody needs 24 hours of anything. And if you think about it, that's the way ESPN went. That's the way the Weather Channel's gone. Now the news, it used to go in at lunch and you would watch the news. They would come in from work and they would watch the news. 6 o'clock, you'd shut up as a kid so they could watch the news. And they would flip their papers open, local papers. So they would get all of that. Now, I mean, it's your phone will buzz 6 times an hour for some head. It's either Tiger Woods or Elon Musk or whatever it might be, So it's ingrained in us, and it's become troublesome. I think, troublesome.
Yeah, it's kind of all the. I'm pretty sure that's like the whole plot line for Anchorman 2. If you've watched them, this is where I get my facts. Will Ferrell movies. But that was their whole thing. They were moving into 24-hour news, and how crazy that was. I mean, it was it was real life stuff based in this complete fictional comedic movie, but they're all about add more graphics and add more action, and we're going to cover stories of squirrels on water skis and like literally anything just to get people to watch. So
the next episode with Glenn will have a 6-foot tall stink bug behind him then, because as we continue to address the same topics, maybe we can start doing that. Every podcast will be breaking from this point on, and all we're going to talk about is stink bugs. Does that work for you?
We could probably make a whole series.
Yes, of the non-ending strife of stink bugs.
If we can, stink bugs in the kitchen, stink bugs in the field, stink bugs in the laundry room,
everywhere. They're huge.
Yep.
If
we can find a stink bug costume for one of you guys to wear in that episode,
make another cartoon.
That'd be perfect.
Make another cartoon. But we appreciate that, a little bit of that behind the scenes of this, because this is the way we reach people now.
Yeah.
To have them come to meetings all of the time, everybody's busy. It's easier. They can still come to those meetings, but we still have to find a way to get to those in our community, customers, our governance, our board members, and members of our team here at Premier and other places on the device that most likely they're going to have all the time. And that's not necessarily TVs or in-person movies or whatever.
Or newspapers.
So they're newspapers. So this podcast has been good. We appreciate you helping us get it off the ground and make this thing go. The finished product's always good with what little you have to work with.
We stretch it as far as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thanks for a little bit of that. Thanks for what you do, Kyle. Thanks for what you do. And I think that's all I've got.
That's all I've got.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
That's another episode of The High Ground, powered by Premier Companies.